This is Prithvi from Mechanical Department. Today I am going to explain how a gyroscope works. Right? So you know that the gyroscope are the device which are mainly used to stabilize. Right? So you can find it in the aircrafts, you can find it in the rockets, you can find it in the ship. So wherever we use the gyroscope, so they are used for mainly for the navigation purpose. Right? So here the working of gyroscope is basically on the gyroscopic couple, right? So which actually will balance the applied load. So that means it will resist the applied couple, so and it will give you a reaction couple. So using that, so it is easy for anyone to navigate. So that's the reason it is used in aircrafts and the rocket, right? Okay, so here in your experiment, so you're going to study how a gyroscope works. The setup looks something like this. It has a rotating disc with a shaft, and at the end there is a motor and there is a suspended weight at one end. So initially the setup will be balanced. So that means it will be, the axis of this will be perpendicular to the axis of this gyroscope, or we can say it is parallel to the ground. So what happens is, so when the motor turns, so you can see the disc will start rotating. So when the disc starts rotating, so you will have the momentum vector, so which actually obeys the right hand rule. So the momentum vector will be coming like this, and it will be in the balanced state. So once you disturb that, so by applying a load, so what happens is, for the action whatever you do, so there will be a reaction. So due to that reaction, the entire setup will start spinning. The spinning of this, we call it as the precision rotation. So that is, it is going to rotate in a precision axis. So here there are few important things you have to note it down. So one is called as the gyroscopic axis. So then you have the spinning of the disc, we call it as the spin angle, and you have the entire setup which is going to spin when you disturb it, we call it as the precision rotation, right? So what happens is, whenever you apply a load, so it is something like this. So you have the spin axis, so it is rotating, let us say in the anti-clockwise direction. So you have the angular momentum vector coming like this. So this angular momentum vector, when you disturb it by adding a load, so this will be the action. For this action, you have the reaction that is set up in the gyroscope. So the reaction will be upward. For this reaction, if you apply the right hand thumb rule, so you see the rotation will be like this. So if you look from the top, the rotation will be again anti-clockwise. So the entire setup will now start spinning like this, right? So the gyroscopic couple equation for this following setup is C is equal to I omega P. So here C is nothing but the gyroscopic couple that you are going to apply. So which is nothing but the load into the distance from the center of the disc to the point of application of the load. So then you have something called as the I, which you are going to find in this particular experiment, which is nothing but the mass moment of inertia of this disc. Obviously that depends on the material of this disc. So by finding I, you can also predict what is the material this disc is made up of, right? So then you have something called as omega, which is nothing but the angular velocity of spin of this particular disc. So then you have omega P, which is nothing but the speed at which the entire setup is going to spin when you apply a disturbing load. So here in this experiment, you can find C, omega as well as omega P. So I is the unknown, and you're going to find what is the value of I for this particular setup, right? So here the couple for this can be easily found by multiplying the load applied with the distance. So then you can find omega by measuring the speed using a tachometer, right? So you can use a manual tachometer or a digital tachometer. So find the speed of this. So then you can use 2 pi m by 60 in order to get the speed or angular velocity in radians per second. So finally, you can even measure omega P, so that is angular velocity of precision. So by noting down at what is the angle this entire setup is going to turn, right? So the angle turned by this entire setup for a particular time, so will give you omega P. So once you have C, omega and omega P, so you can easily find the value of the mass moment of inertia. So that is what you are going to do. So the experiment is being conducted for different values of W, and for each value of W, you are going to find the value of I. So that is what is the main aim of this experiment. So which is a very simple one. So we are going to demonstrate in the next video. The gyroscopic setup looks something like this. So you have a rotating disc at the center. On the other side you have the motor, and you can see there is the tachometer, so which actually measures the rotation of the shaft. So whenever this disc spins, so then on the other side you have a counter mass initially, so which is used to balance this setup. Initially the entire setup has to be balanced, so that means it should not bend, right? So here it should be always horizontal. The axis of this should be horizontal to the ground. So it has a motor, a disc and a counter mass on the other end. So initially the entire setup is balanced. Okay, so that means the axis of this disc will be horizontal to the ground. So now when I switch it on, I gradually increase the speed. So you can see here in the tachometer the speed is rising. Okay, you can fix a particular speed. So let us say we will fix it to some 300 or 350 RPM. Okay, we'll fix it to, let us say, 500 RPM. So okay, let us say we have fixed the RPM to somewhere around 600. So again you can see that the entire system is stable. So that means it is completely balanced now. So what we are going to do is you're going to add another mass, so which will disturb the system, adding an unbalanced mass. Okay, one more thing here, you can see how the disc is spinning. The disc is spinning like this. Okay, so its angular momentum vector will be in this direction. So when you apply the load, the angular momentum vector will be displaced down. So obviously this system has to turn in this direction. So that is, for me it is a counterclockwise direction. Okay, so I'll apply the mass on this. You can see here, as we discussed, it is going to turn in the anti-clockwise direction. So what you have to do is, you have to first see the angle here, and you can set it to 0, or you can measure it from any particular angle which is given here. Once you apply the mass, it starts spinning. So what you have to do is, for a particular time, what is the angle turned by this, so that you are going to measure. So here, as because of lot of wires and all, so it is not going to continuously spin, so it is going to spin and it is going to stop. So what you have to do is, so you can measure, let us say 5 or 10 degree, that's it. So what is the time taken for the setup to turn by 10 degree? So that is what you are going to measure. That is going to be used in order to calculate the angular moment of precision, right? So the speed at which it is turning, which is displayed here, is used to calculate omega. The angle turned by the time will give you the value of omega p. Okay, and the mass you add multiplied by the distance is going to give you the value of gyroscopic couple. So those are the three which are required for this particular experiment. So what you do is, you fix a particular speed here, add a disturbing mass, and your system will start spinning. So measure what is the time using a stop clock. So stopwatch, what you can do is, so what is the angle turned, 10 degree angle turned by this, measure the time. So then what you do is, remove this weight. So right now it is 200 gram. So increase the mass for the same speed. So make it as 400. And again place it. So obviously it has to now turn like this. And you would have observed that the time required for this to spin when I add more mass is actually less. So that means it turned in a quicker way, right? So the time it took to spin is less. So again what you do is, measure the angle, same angle, let us say 10 degree. What is the time it took for it to rotate by 10 degree? So again from that you are going to calculate the value of omega p. So obviously in this case, the two things which are changing is your couple, that is you're changing the weights, obviously the couple is going to change, and the other thing is going to change is the value of omega p. So like that you can do it for 2 to 3 trials, okay, and take the average of whatever I you're going to get. So this is how you conduct a experiment in a gyroscope. Again, when I remove the weight, you can see here it is now stable, right? So whenever I put a mass, it starts spinning. Okay, so this is an experiment on the gyroscope.